Hello, this is Beat After Beat coming to you live from the Motor City. This is Mondaze. Welcome, welcome everyone. Mondaze with your host Beat After Beat. 68 and cloudy here in the Motor City. Drum roll, please. That was weak. There we go. Gotta knock Monday in the face sometime. In case you didn't know, I am a music channel here in the Motor City. I am Beat After Beat, established 2017, coming to you live. Welcome, welcome everybody to the show. It is Bio Mondays. That means that this is the biography of bands around the world, including solo artists. Today we have Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me. Simple Minds will be in the house today, along with the Style Council. Thank you all for showing up. Today we will be starting off with the opening act, and it's a very close opening act versus the headliner. Both Simple Minds and the Style Council both came out in the late 70s. Style Council used to be the Jam. In case you didn't know, but check out the Jam. Used to be the Jam, now or was Style Council. Reformed the Jam, reformed into the Style Council. So a little close there between Simple Minds and Style Council. Who's going to open today? We'll go with Simple Minds. Simple Minds. Six minutes in the show. This is Beat After Beat, Bio Mondays. Welcome everybody. All right, we have Simple Minds here. Simple Minds, Scottish group whose mix of Art rock and electro dance rhythms made them pop figures. Active 1970s, 2020s. Formed in 1977 in Glasgow, Scotland, under the pop rock section. Styles: college rock, new wave, alternative indie rock, contemporary pop rock, dance rock, post-punk, adult alternative punk rock, or post or alternative pop rock. Group members: Jim Keir, Charlie Burchell, Derek Forbes, Brian McGee, Eddie Duffy, John Giblin, Jed Grims, Sarah Brown, Tony Donald, to name a few. Simple Minds is a big band. This is Bio Mondays, and the opening act today is Simple Minds. Scotland's Simple Minds evolved from artful late 70s post punks into global purveyors of pop grandeur with a string of UK chart topping albums that includes 1984's Sparkle in the Rain and their global breakthrough Once Upon a Time, my favorite album from Simple Minds back in '85. Once Upon a Time, a lot of great memories. While the band was widely embraced at home, in Europe, in Oceania, it took the smash hit Don't You Forget About Me from the film The Breakfast Club to break them into the US, along with the similarly anthemic Alive and Kicking. It remains their best known stateside hit, though they renamed one of the UK's biggest bands through the remainder of the decade after 1989's street fighting years. In a series of personal shuffles, Simple Minds' popularity faded somewhat. Founding members Jim Kerr (vocals) and Charlie Burchell on guitar have made up the band's core partnership since its inception, and over the subsequent decades have continued to most successful tours and release high-quality late-period albums like 2014's Big Music and 2018's Walk Between Worlds. The band grew out of Glasgow punk outfit called Johnny and the Self-Abusers, which featured Jim Kerr, and Bert Schill and drummer Brian McGee among its ranks, kicking their name from a lyric in David Bowie's Jean Genie. The newly minted Simple Minds began playing in earnest in 1978 and settled around a quintet lineup that also included keyboardist Mick McNeil and bassist Derek Forbes. They quickly earned a reputation around Glasgow, as well as a contract from Arista imprint Zoom Records. The three albums Simple Minds recorded for Zoom are all produced by John Lackey. seemed to leap from one style to another. Their 1979 debut album, Life in the Day, consisted mostly of dense, arty pop songs in the vein of influences like Roxy Music and Magazine. Released just 7 months later, the darker and more experimental Reel to Reel Canopy was an artistic post-punk triumph that drew strong critical praise. Peter Gabriel took notice and pegged them to open his European tour, during which Simple Minds released their third LP, minimalist Euro techno or Euro disco set Empires and Dance. After switching to Virgin Records in 1981, the group began to transition to a more accessible pop style with the albums Sons and Fascination and Sister Feeling Calling, originally issued together and subsequently split up. 1982's New Golden Dream, 81, 82, 83, 84, proved to be the critical and commercial breakthrough they've been waiting for, reaching number 3 in the UK and making the top 10 in Australia and numerous other countries. It also began their first album to chart in the US during this period. McGee departed, and after cycling through a handful of touring drummer, the band settled on Mel Gaymore as their full-time drummer. 1984's Steve Lillywhite produced Sparkle in the Rain, gave Simple Minds their first UK number 1, effectively ushering them into their most successful period. Although they had broken in the UK, Europe, and Oceania, the band still hadn't made a significant dent in the US market. They were offered the opportunity to record Don't You Forget About Me, a song that didn't write for the John a song they didn't write for to the John Hughes' film The Breakfast Club. Both Brian Ferry and Billy Idol passed on the song, and Simple Minds almost did so as well. Kerr was dissatisfied with the song's lyrics, which he regarded as formulaic. His change of heart gave Simple Minds their only American chart topper, and the song later became an international hit as well. However, Kerr's feelings about the song remained ambivalent, and it did not appear on the follow-up album, 1985's Once Upon a Time, another massive international success. The album went gold and reached the US top 10 thanks to its bombastic pop sound and the arena-friendly anthem Alive and Kicking. While their American success was relatively short-lived, Simple Minds' 1987 concert album Live in the City of Light and its 1989 studio follow-up Street Fighting Years were chart toppers in the UK and many other countries, produced by Trevor Horn and Stephen Lipson. The uncompromisingly political Street Fighting Years yielded the number 1 hit Belfast Child. It also marked a tonal change for the band, who parted with Michael McNeil not long after its release. After 1991's Real Life, Gaymore was gone as well, leaving the core duo of Kerr and Burchell to represent Simple Minds going forward. 17 minutes in the show, we are doing the biography of Simple Minds. It says beat after beat. After taking several years off, Kurt and Burchill recorded 1995's Good News from the Next World. It backed up sessions musicians managing to chart a #2 UK single in She's a River. Bassist Forbes returned for 1998's Napoleus. Simple Minds first for the Chrysler label, which didn't even release it in the US. Kurt and Charlie Burchill signed to Eagle Records in early 2001 and constructed their first covers album, Neon Lights, later that fall, paying tribute to Patti Smith, Neil Young, and David Bowie, and others. Cry, an album of new material, appeared in 2002. The 2004 box set, Silver Box, dug deep into Simple Minds archives and included Our Secrets Are the Same, an unreleased album that had been shelved in the year 2000. Other reissue projects followed, along with a pair of new studio albums, 2005's Black and White and 2009's Universal issued Graffiti Soul, which returned Simple Minds to the UK top 10 during this period. They continued to tour frequently and even managed to a reunion of the original lineup in 2008. During the 2010s, the group's legacy was boosted by some of the best albums of their later years. Released in 2014, Big Music, it was seen as something of a return to form and included 2 songs co-written with Church's Ian Cook. After 2016's stripped-down acoustics saw them revoking many of their hits. They returned again in 2018 with Walk Between Worlds, co-produced by the band with Andy Wright and Kevin Goldberg, both of whom had worked on Big Music. The album contained 2 distinct sides. The first half revisited the glassy guitars and the new wave dance grooves of the post-punk era that signified the band's earliest records, while the second explored more cinematic sounds, reflected best in the title track and Barrowland Star, which were completely orchestrated at Abbey Road. The concert album, Live in the City of Angels, landed the following year alongside a comprehensive compilation of hits, the best of 1979-2019, which included a cover of King Grisalti's For One Night Only in early 2022. The group released Act of Love, one of singles that reimagined one of the first songs Kurt and Burchill ever wrote together. There you have it, the biography of Simple Minds. Again, Once Upon a Time was Beat's favorite album. Old Jungle Land, Wish You Were Here, All the Things She Said. That was my favorite album back in high school. Once Upon a Time. Up next, we are going to do the discography of Simple Minds. This is Beat After Beat, 22 minutes in the show. We just covered Simple Minds, biography. Up next is the Style Council, formerly known as the Jam. Go check out the Jam. Came out in the late 70s, broke up, and then formed the Style Council. Simple Minds, the discography here at Beat After Beat by Mondaze. 1979's Life in a Day on Atlantic Records. 1979's Reel to Reel Canapone or Capone, Virgin Records, 4.5 stars. 1980's Empires in Dance on Virgin Records, 4 stars. 1981 Sister Feelings Call on Virgin Records. 1981 Sons and Fascination on Virgin Records. 1982's New Gold Dream, 81, 82, 83, and 84 Virgin Records, 4.5 stars. 1984's Sparkle in the Rain on Virgin Records. 1985's Once Upon a Time, Virgin Records, 4.5 stars. 1987's Live in the City of Light, and I believe that live album was recorded in Paris, France. EMI Music Distribution, 1989 Street Fighting Years on EMI Music Distribution. 1991's Real Life on Virgin Records, 2 stars. 1995's Good News from the Next World on Virgin Records, 2 stars. 1998's Napoleus on Virgin Records, 3 stars. 2001's Neon Lights on Eagle Records / Red Ink Records, 2 stars, or no, 1.5 stars on the Neon Lights 2001 album. 2002's Cry on Import Records, 2.5 stars. 2005's Black and White on Sanctuary Records, 3 stars. 2009's Graffiti Soul on Polydor Records, 3.5 stars. 2014's Big Music on Caroline Records, 4 stars. 2016's Acoustic on Caroline International Records, 3 stars. 2018's Walk Between Worlds on BMG Records, 4 stars. And 2022's Direction of the Heart on BMG Rights Management. There you have it, the discography of Simple Minds. Up next we have Style Council as the opening act. It's pretty much a tie between Simple Minds and the Style Council. So the headliner is officially the Style Council, formerly known as the Jam. One moment, please. Ah, yeah, here we go. See who's in the chat. Trump said, "Thank you so much. Much love to you." Trump said, "I realize it's the holiday, but the show must go on." This is Bio Mondays, 28 minutes in the show, and we have the headliner, so to speak, the Style Council. Again, formerly known as the Jam. The Style Council, a vehicle for ex-Jam frontman Paul Weller that set out to combine 80s soul and new wave pop with social commentary. Style Council was formed in the 80s, 1983 in London, England, disbanded in 1989 under the pop rock section, the styles of the Style Council, alternative indie rock, new wave, punk new wave, sophisticated pop, synth pop. Group members: Mick Talbot, Paul Weller, D.C. Lee, and Steve White. And the biography. The Style Council guitarist vocalist Paul Weller broke up the Jam, the most popular British band in the early 80s. At the height of their success in 1982 became because he was dissatisfied with their musical direction. Paul Weller wanted to incorporate more elements of soul, R&B, and jazz into his songwriting, which is something he felt his punk-oriented bandmates were incapable of performing. In order to pursue this musical direction, he teamed up in 1983 with keyboardist Mick Talbot, former member of the mod revival band, the Merton Parkas, Parkas. Together, Weller and Talbot became the Style Council. Other members were added according to what kind of music the duo were performing with the Style Council. The underlying intellectual pretensions that ran throughout Weller's music came to the forefront. Although the music was rooted in American R&B, it was performed slickly, complete with layers of synthesizers and drum machines, and filtered through European styles and attitudes. Paul Weller's lyrics were typically earnest, yet his leftist political leanings became more pronounced. His scathing criticisms of racism, unemployment, Margaret Thatcher, and sexism sat uneasily beside his obsession with high culture. As his pretensions increased, the number of hits the Style Council had increased. By the end of the decade, the group was barely able to crack the British top 40, and Paul Weller had turned from a hero into a has-been. Released in March 1983, the Style Council's first single, "Speak Like a Child," became an imminent hit, reaching number 4 on the British charts. 3 months later, "The Money Go Round" peaked at number 11 on the charts as the group was recording an EP called "Paris," which appeared in August 19 or which appeared in August. The EP reached number 3. "Solid Bond in Your Heart" became another hit in November, peaking at number 11. The Style Council released their first full-length album, "Cafe Blue," in March of 1984. 2 months later, a new version of the record, retitled "My Ever-Changing Moods," was released in America. "Cafe Blue" was Paul Weller's most stylistically ambitious album to date, drawing from jazz, soul, rap, and pop. While it was musically all over the map, it was their most successful album, peaking at number 5 in the UK and number 56 in the US. "My Ever-Changing Moods" became their first US hit, peaking at number 29 in the summer of 1985. The Style Council had another UK top 10 hit with "The Walls Come Tumbling Down." The single was taken from "Our Favorite Shot," which reached number 1 on the UK charts. The record was released as Internationalist in the US. The live album, "Home and Abroad," was released in the spring of 1986. It peaked at number 8. The Style Council had its last top 10 single with "It Didn't Matter" in January of 1987. "The Cost of Living," an album that featured a heavy emphasis on jazz-inspired soul, followed in February. Although it received unfavorable reviews, the record peaked at number 2 in the UK that spring. "Waiting" became the group's first single not to crack the British top 40, signaling that their popularity was rapidly declining. In July 1988, the Style Council released their last album, "Confessions of a Pop Group," which featured Paul Weller, most self-important and pompous music. The second side featured a 10-minute orchestral suite called "The Gardener of Eden." The record charted fairly well, reaching number 15 in the UK, but it received terrible reviews. In March of 1989, the Style Council released a compilation, "The Singular Adventures of the Style Council," which reached number 3 on the charts. Later that year, Paul Weller delivered a new single, a new Style Council album, which reflected his infatuation with house and club music. To the band's record label Polydor, Polydor rejected the album and dropped both the Style Council and Paul Weller from the label. Paul Weller and Mick Tablett officially broke up the Style Council in 1990. In 1991, Paul Weller launched a solo career, which would return him to popular and critical favor in the mid-90s, while Talbot continued to play with both Weller and as a solo musician. There you have it, the biography of the Style Council. Up next, we got the discography of the Style Council. Thank you for showing up 38 minutes into the show. This is Bio Mondays, covering the opening act, Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me, as well as the Style Council. (1984's) My Ever Changing Moods on Geffen Records, 4.5 stars. (1984's) Cafe Blue on Polydor Records, 4.5 stars. (1985's) Our Favorite Shop on Polygram Records, 4.5 stars. (1985's) Internationalist, Geffen Records, 4.5 stars. (1986's) Home and Abroad, Polydor Records, 2 stars. (1987's) The Cost of Loving, Polygram Records, 2 stars. 1988's Confession of a Pop Group, Polygram Records, 1 star. And 2001's Modernism, A New Decade on Polygram Records, 1.5 stars. And it looks like they come out with a live album right after 2001's Modernism, A New Decade. But I have no name for that live album, no record label, no stars. So there you have it, the discography of the Style Council. (40 minutes in the show. Thank you all for showing up. This is Beat After Beat Bio Mondays on this cloudy 68 degrees here in Michigan on this Labor Day. Hope everyone is enjoying their Labor Day weekend. (41 minutes in the show. I received a package or an envelope this or last week from a new friend of mine. I received this envelope from a friend of mine. You all may know him as Professional Pete Paranormal Research I will be doing a PPR, professional paranormal research, unsealed in the upcoming days or so. So be on the lookout for this envelope from professional PPR, as you all call him, professional paranormal research. Be on the lookout for the unsealed from my new friend out there in Kentucky. Thank you for that envelope. Appreciate it to the fullest. Don't forget to stop by tomorrow for New Release Tuesdays, also known as Taco Tuesdays. Going to bring out or kick out the new releases for tomorrow. Don't forget to grab your tacos. I prefer mild sauce. Don't forget to bring your bag of tacos and your favorite soda. And we will be doing New Release Tuesdays for tomorrow. Much love to the fullest. Hope you enjoyed the show. Some more music education. We opened up today with Simple Minds. Did the biography, discography of Simple Minds. Again, Once Upon a Time was Beat After Beat's favorite album by Simple Minds back in 1985. Again, Oh Jungle Land, All the Things She Said, and Wish You Were Here were one of my three favorite songs on that album, Once Upon a Time. Bet y'all could stick around. 45 in the show. And we covered the opening act, Style Council. In case you didn't know, also, I wanted to bring this up, that Jim Kerr, the lead vocalist for this Simple Minds, Jim Kerr was once married to Chrissie Hynde of the Pretenders way back when. Yes, Jim Kerr, Chrissie Hynde, both married at one time. Go check out the Pretenders. I'm sure all of you remember back in the Chain Gang. I will see you all tomorrow. And don't forget, I received an envelope from professional paranormal research. Go check him out. Give him some love from Beat After Beat. Go check out professional paranormal research. I will be unsealing this envelope soon. So be on the lookout for this coming up. Professional paranormal research unsealed. I will see you all tomorrow for New Release Tuesdays, 12 o'clock Eastern, also known as Taco Tuesdays, bringing you the latest in new releases for pop rock and electronic section. Thank y'all for showing up. This is Beat After Beat. Much love. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day weekend. All right. See y'all tomorrow.